Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ears to the
Hello.
East, and specifically to Indonesia, because it is our world tour Wednesdays. Shall I explain the concept of this for everyone?
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. So basically, what we decided is we're going to try something that I used to do on my channel years ago, and it just seemed like a fun concept, and see if people are into it. Because of course, this channel is called Ears to the East. We mostly focus on Japan, which is where most of the music we like is from. But hey, there is a whole East out there, and we know that you guys also like music from other countries. So each week we're going to pick a country to really, go into 3 songs from that country and discuss them. But here's the interesting thing. One person is elected to pick the songs for each country. So we're starting off with Indonesia. And the person.
And I know why you started off with Indonesia. Because you both got a bone to pick. So it was like, oh, who should we go first? Neon, let's go with yours. Let's get the shit one out the way first.
Is somebody getting defensive? All right, I gotta be honest. Actually, this is kind of an interesting one. So I know that like Indonesia is a country that I've heard like a lot of reaction channels have like covered like Indonesian artists, but
Oh, Howard, you still there, lad?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You froze for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still good. Okay, I think there might be some problems with the connections between the three of us. So
yeah, your
we're all recording
unstable.
It's not me this time. Yay.
Yeah, but it says my connection is stable here, so I'm going to have to just sort of cross my fingers and hope that the 3 of us stay in contact long enough to talk about Neon songs. So yeah, I'd heard about Indonesia being popular with a lot of reactors, but I hadn't really sort of dug into knowingly into much Indonesian music. So I think the way we're going to approach this subject is we basically all 3 of us picked songs for our individual countries that we just thought were worth talking about, interesting, maybe give an interesting view on the country. And so, yeah, I guess first of all, how did you pick your songs, Neon? Was there like any particular, was it songs you already heard or?
Yeah, so 2 of the artists out of this list are ones that I've had requested reactions to, and 2 of them I really, really enjoyed. So I found those 2 artists from reactions from my channel. So if you're interested in going to see out my initial reactions for that, go and check out my channel. The third one, which is probably the one you 2 gonna pick on me for, is we'll just we'll see. It's just a band that I just came across just listening to music, and it was a band that I really, really like. So I was like, you know what, I love it so much, and I know you 2 are so open-minded and only have kind things to say. I was like, oh, I'm gonna share it with you 2. So
well, let's start with your first song, shall we? I looked at the
Maybe that's a good idea.
It's like he's building up to a nice climax here by being super defensive about the last song. Okay, so well, the first song was okay. So I try to what it's called "School Revolution" by a band called VOB, Voice of
Baceprot. Yeah.
Baceprot.
Baceprot. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you say that? Baceprot.
Baceprot.
Does that mean anything?
This is the bit where we also find out we don't know anything about how to speak other languages.
Yes, yeah. This is where like Indonesian and stuff like that. It's kind of like a little bit on my third pick as well, when it comes to like songs and stuff, and how I came across them, because obviously I don't speak the lingo.
And if you are watching this and you know about any of the cultures that we cover, then feel free to get in and give us a bit of schooling, because we're finding out a lot of this is us finding out. So anyway, Neon, tell us a bit about
so Voice of Baceprot is again one of the bands I heard when I was a reaction. Now I picked this song called School Revolution because this is one of their first or like older songs. Now they've been a while around, they've been out a while now, they're still going around. I think they're really popular in the reaction scene as well. A lot of people really, really like listening to them and stuff, and they've developed and come quite a long way actually from this initial video. Now I didn't know whether or not to share something like up to date or what, and the reason why I picked this one as like one of their very, very first videos is because I wanted to see you 2, probably not knowing who they are, kind of where they originally came from and where they are when you first listen to them, because I want you guys to, this is a band that I think hopefully you guys might have been piqued interested in, but this is a band that has come a long way in the last like 4 years since when this video dropped. I think it's even longer than 4 years actually. I think it might be like 6 years old. I'm not too sure on the time, but it's quite an old one. And I think even here at one of these old videos, they have such a really kind of cool rock distinctive sound, lots of melodies, like piercing like riffs as well that I really really like, and they blend this all really nice, as well as obviously like the Indonesian culture kind of like bleeds through their songs a little bit. But I really really like that, and one of the things that I really really appreciate as well is this is another song that I picked on purpose a little bit more towards Howard, because they kind of rap a little bit in this one. They sing really really quick, and it's got a little bit
That
of
is in my notes. That is in my notes.
they got a bit, yeah, they got a bit of a flow to this one, which I really really like. And one of the reasons why I really like this band is their variety. They've got so much. They've got some really really heavy songs, some songs like this, which is a little bit spontaneous and a little bit of variety, and then they got more of your traditional rock songs. And I really wanted to like introduce these to you guys and the listeners as well, because I don't know, there's just something really really unique about them, and I know that Howard will hopefully particularly like them because they're also a free piece as well. And I don't know, their sound is just really really unique, and of all the bands that I've heard from Indonesia, I don't feel like one quite sounds like them, where they lean back on their heritage and kind of where they're from, but also have this Western kind of sounding and kind of rock sound mixed in with obviously English lyrics as well. They go backwards and forwards between Indonesian and English in the song. It's just really really nice. I like having
Like, can I ask you something? Because I'm not too familiar with like the whole culture, I would say. So which parts of the song would you say sound like it's
I think it's
presenting
more
their culture? Because to me it sounded more like a rock song, like you said, which has
I
a lot
think
of
it's more
elements.
the harmonies. I think once you listen to them a little bit more, what they do really well is they have that kind of like Western rock influence through their songs, but it's the layering they put on their songs. They have obviously the hymns, the backing tracks, the singing over it, and the message in their songs as well. And what I particularly like about this band, and it's kind of punkish, they know that they're kind of a little bit out of place of being an Indonesian girl rock band, and they know people are looking at them a little bit, and they kind of like, well, fuck you guys, we do what we want to do because we love it. And
I was going to ask, because I might be completely wrong on this, but I believe I might have heard of them, because I know there was a whole thing about I think Indonesian rock group, all girls, who got famous because they'd kind of been told you can't do that.
Yes.
And their whole thing was that they went and did it anyway.
They went and did it anyway, which is these girls.
That's what this
okay. One of their songs. It was actually a tie between this song and that song in particular, where they pretty much came out and went, well, fuck all you people, we like doing this, fuck you and your opinions. I just really really like that. The girls got some balls, and you know they hold on to their beliefs, and I really liked it.
That's a brilliant
or not had balls. You know what I mean? They had guts. There you go.
I was going to ask a similar question to Benedict originally, and like what part you felt was Indonesian, because I must admit I didn't really grasp so much there was anything that felt particularly like, oh, that feels like it's from an ethnic background. Sometimes it's in the nuances that you have to know the culture to know. I would suspect maybe in the melody, the certain aspects of the melody might have been sort of going back to, I think you mentioned about sort of Indonesian hymns or
it's songs. Probably not one of the best songs for me to give to you guys that probably demonstrates that in this song, in all fairness. It's there, but only in like really kind of like small tiny bits, I think. I
think I get that, because you talked about the vocal harmonies and like that part, and that really sounded unique to me in a way. So yeah.
I would say musically a lot.
I'm interested to know what you guys think. So lay it on me.
Yeah. Musically, I thought it was fun. I like the riffing. It did feel like a fairly standard rock song. There wasn't anything where I went, okay, this is really different. But I did like the lead singer's delivery. Ironically, I agree with you. I did like the fact that she went into kind of a rhythmic, almost sort of somewhere between singing and rapping section. I think it gave a bit more bounce and fun. So totally right. I like that bit a lot. If anything, I think that the biggest thing that worked against the song was that it was quite long. And I felt there could have been, if it was a bit shorter and a little bit more focused on having the vocals happening more of the time, because it didn't feel like any point there was so much going on that there wasn't room for the vocals.
Yeah.
So I felt like there was plenty of places where it was like, okay, the vocals can come back in now because the vocals are really cool. And she had a great intonation to her voice. The way that she curved some of the notes and stuff was really fun. A little bit of attitude, a bit of personality, but it was all very, you know, it all felt right. It all felt natural.
This might be one of maybe the wrong way I approached it, but my thinking coming into this one was I don't want to show you anything new. I want to show you the beginning because it's all uphill from here. Like they get better with age as their skills and sound kind of comes together. So I was torn a little bit. I was like, do I show you something new and more up to date of what they are now? Or should I show you something from quite a while ago? And I chose to pick something from quite a while ago. So hopefully you guys might see their progression if you want to listen to more of them. And I think seeing how they improve over time is part of their charm as well.
Yeah, I think I can only agree with what you said, especially that vocal delivery and like the context in what we did this, like what we are doing right now. Really enjoyed just hearing another language. That's, yeah, just something that stood out to me and immediately got me into the vibe of, you know, some other ethnic background. And if it's just another language, I'm just so used to Japanese and just hearing other languages and just the tonation and the way it feels different, I would say. So I really enjoyed that. And also the rock aspect, you know, I'm not a huge rock fan in general. A lot of times, even especially if it's a longer song, it can lose me over time. But this really kept my attention. And also, I think part of it is because of that kind of, I don't know, weird sounding chorus harmonies that you were talking about. That, yeah, apparently is, I don't know, maybe we can hear some more of that in other of their songs.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
I was going to say, we're going to, our new cultural advisor, Neon, will point us to. But that's kind of the cool thing, actually, because I felt like with a lot of this, what we were doing was, because we're like, each one of us, when we picked our country, had to kind of dive in and learn a little bit about it as well. And I think this was a great place to start, because even if I wasn't sure this was that band, like, it just kind of like reminded me, it's like, is this the one? And yeah, it's interesting because, of course, a lot of different cultures, they have very different societal things that affect, you know, when you can do, you know, certain countries, you know, rock music is frowned on, you know, female participation in music is frowned on. So not knowing exactly what the deal is, I know there are quite a lot of you know, sort of stringent rules in Indonesia about a lot of these things. So it's probably, I mean, they probably really had to, you know, go through quite a lot, and they've probably had quite a lot of pushback, I would guess, against this, which is yeah, it really says a lot for them. They've carried on. They've, you know, really expressed themselves in, you know, a type of music which I'm assuming they probably heard. They probably heard it from. It's got that Western tinge, so they probably heard some Western artists or other artists who maybe hadn't been able to break out, but were also doing that sort of thing in Indonesia. And yeah, I just think it's such a cool thing to add that cultural aspect to it. But as an actual group, they sound very polished. They sound like they're you know, they sound like having a lot of fun. Sounds like they're doing something they're good at. And yeah, if as Neon's saying, if it only sort of gets better from here, then it's a very good starting point. So yeah, I'll definitely check out more. Yeah,
I agree. I like that.
All right, you got some winning votes on your first one, Neon.
Oh,
you started so strong.
We started so well.
So strong.
All right. So my second one is Putri Ariana. Now there's plenty of reasons why I picked her. One, I think her voice is absolutely amazing. She's probably one of the most popular known ones. She was in what is it called? I think it was America's Got Talent, or it was one of those, you know, one of those talent shows.
Indonesia's Got Talent?
No, it was one with Simon Cowell. So she's very popular, she's kind of really known. But I really, really like her story. I know I didn't say this in the descriptions of the vids, so I don't know how much you know about her, but she is actually blind. She can't see.
All right.
And she plays piano. So she plays the piano and she sings. And she is blind. Which kind of resonates with me a little bit because I don't really have the best of fucking sight. Like I wanted to be Batman, but not like that. Not that blind.
So it's holding you into the Dark Knight, doesn't it?
But yeah, this really, really touches me because I like her story and the way that she had to overcome things as well, which resonates with me a little bit more. I know that's hard to kind of put onto you guys because obviously you'll be listening to this song without that knowledge. But it's just something really, really special. She's so young with such a really, really good, fantastic voice. And she stays relatively grounded as well. And she does her own original songs on a piano.
Do you know if this song reflects that journey? Is this song about something specific, do you know, or is that not something you are aware of?
That one's probably a little bit above my pay grade, which is
Okay. You
know,
didn't learn the language. It's like you didn't even try.
I didn't need to learn the language. It's in English, you dickhead.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yes, it is.
You didn't learn English?
Did you
Oh my
listen
God.
to the song?
I did listen to the song, actually. I'll be honest with you, I just didn't even clock that it's in English. But then again, I keep getting told
Seriously?
Love Bites is in
Holy
English.
shit.
I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
really?
Wow.
That was one of the first things I
Oh,
noticed about this song, that it's
wow.
in English.
It's in English.
Because I would have wished for it to be not in English. Because like like I said in the first song, I
Really?
really enjoyed the different language, and then it's just English. It was like,
Oh, like I said, she's really, really popular in both India and Indonesia. And like I said, she was on again, Americans Got Talent or something. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the show. Somebody will probably tell us in the comments. But she did amazing on there. So
but that wasn't this video that you showed us, right?
No, it's not this video. This
No,
is her. This is an original song from her.
Okay.
So this one's called Loneliness. And one of the things I really, really like about her, she can really, really portray that sadness in her voice for somebody so young, who's been through a lot. I feel like she can really, really convey that. And there is a lot about
How old is she?
right now, I have absolutely no idea. Again,
at
this
the
is an
time?
artist. This is an artist I follow, but not to the extent where I know her age, her birthday, and her address. Not that kind of creepy.
But you mentioned her
You weren't
being young,
asking
so
for a social
what
security
kind
number,
of
I promise.
age?
I would say I think from the reaction videos that I did, she was like 16 or 14. So I imagine she's probably around her early 20s now, I want to say. But that is just me taking a shot in the dark there from what I know. But her name Putri, which I was told in some of my reactions, is actually called Princess. So a lot of people call her Princess Putri.
That's funny because I wanted to say something, but go ahead first.
Oh God! And again, I think it's just another charismatic girl that I really, really like, who's got an absolutely outstanding voice that's way beyond her years, but also the musical talent and capacity to like really make a song hers and kind of really embody the song and also make it better than what it is with her voice. She's got one of those voices I feel like that come across once in a blue moon. And for somebody in her position as well, which is why I picked her above other artists, is because, like I said, I like her journey, I like her story, I sympathize with her, and I kind of want her to do well as well.
Do you think this is a common, like, because again, this is a common thread between your first pick and your second pick. Do you think there is kind of like I guess there would be a common thread of some artists who come up through much more difficult circumstances in countries like Indonesia, where obviously they're known to have more, sort of social issues, and there's, probably more people living harder lives there than would be in a lot of.
I think for the girls of Voice of Baceprot, I think that's very much the case. I feel like they probably had a way harder journey than anybody else, just to be themselves and to be accepted and in their environment and surroundings. But I feel like they're really, really popular, and I feel like they've won a lot of people over. Kind of like baby metal in that sense, where they kind of came across as a bit of a joke that when they first kind of came across, and then over the years, people have kind of accepted that they're here to stay, which I really like. That I think with Putri, it's more of a individual set of circumstances that I kind of relate to. Kind of sympathize with her as well, obviously, for being blind and being able to play the piano whilst not being able to see, and her voice as well, to practice to do something that good with a disadvantage that 99% of the population has over her. I feel like that's worth a shout.
It's the Stevie Wonder power.
It
It's like
is,
all
it
the best
is,
people on the keys are the ones who
I
can't see.
what can I say?
Ray Charles as well.
Yeah, I like a good underdog story. So yeah, maybe that's just me. I like to root for the underdog.
I mean, without much in the way of context myself going into this, and I listened to this yesterday, and clearly the fact that she was speaking English didn't even stick with me. But the one thing that did stick with me was just like the fact that her vocal performance was beautiful. I mean, the song itself, assuming it's self-written, it was a very nice song, very emotional song, but it was kind of in a range of ballads that, you know, we get a lot of these, and you tend to find that, you know, ballads are popular everywhere, but a lot of Asian countries, piano ballads, a big thing.
I feel like
her voice was the carrier.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely probably takes more of a Western influence here. I think it's like because of her popularity in the West, I feel like she probably leans into that a little bit more. But she does do good songs. Maybe that's on me for not.
I didn't mean that in a negative way at all. I mean, like I said, one of the interesting things is that in a lot of smaller like Asian countries, it seems that a lot of the artists that break out are the ones doing like either love songs or ballads or sort of something where, yeah, they learn to play piano and then they learn to play something sweet and melodic off the back of that. You tend to find that this is, well, in my experience, this tends to be a fairly common musical direction for people in these kind of countries that maybe don't have the big music scenes. And so for me, it was like her doing something which itself wasn't overly surprising, but she just did it so well. It was in her emotion and her delivery. It was in the power of her voice as well. Like her voice was just like really, really very, very, you know, compelling, you know, like you say, full of emotion. Yeah, and I didn't really notice that she was blind, didn't really come across, but yeah, just but as well as the language, but just the performance really was what caught me. So she was playing piano at the same time because she was sitting down at the piano. So it was a full piano and vocal performance, which just again, you could have the emotion delivered both in the instrument and in the voice. So I really liked it. Again, not one that without context would maybe stand out from the crowd, but one where, you know, when you sit down and think about it, there's actually a lot of quality going on there that maybe is enough to get you coming back and listening to the artist again for sure.
What did you think, Peter?
I mean, you kind of said it all, but to me, this song didn't really hit. I mean, undoubtedly, is that how you say it?
We'll go with
undoubtedly or undoubtedly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? A fantastic singer, great vocal performance, great performance overall with the piano. And I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, with the context and everything that she's blind, you know, I didn't know before as well, and probably will add to that whole performance, just knowing all of that. But, you know, the song itself, it really felt kind of generic to me. It felt like a Disney song. That's why I laughed when you said her name is Princess, because to me it felt like a Disney princess song. And yeah,
like a really sad princess song. They happen. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I
feel like this one's
and you know, it being in English just added to that. Maybe if it would have been in her native language, it would have hit different. But like that, it just felt like a Western song to me.
I feel like this is probably the worst choice, really probably a poor choice for me on this one.
I mean, I think when we're trying to get a taste of the music from a certain country, I think in that sense it was a very good choice because, like I said, I think it is fairly common. I mean, I've never been to Indonesia, I should point out, but I've been to like a lot of other, you know, sort of Central Asian countries and no, sorry, South Asian. You can't say South Asian. I've been to like South Asian countries, and I know there is a real love for this kind of music. So I do think it's an important example, and I do think her performance is great. Although I would still also come down slightly on Benedict's side there and saying that there is also the aspect that kind of song, there are millions of songs like that. Don't know if I necessarily go all the way to being a Disney song, but I can certainly see how you'd get off the train at that station. Yeah, it definitely more
really
of the emotion was coming out of her than it was coming out of the song.
Like, I was wrong.
Without knowing the lyrics.
I could really imagine the scene in the movie.
So after those very, very lukewarm responses to this one, then, so obviously the third one is obviously the song you both absolutely fucking love. It's got to be. There's got to be some positivity in this somewhere.
I think you're gonna actually grab an interesting reaction from Benedict.
The loneliness one.
Yeah, I think Benedict's gonna really like this one, right? I don't know. It's my guess.
Like I said, I like this more than the last one, to be honest.
But not enough.
Which might be a shock for Howard.
It's not a shock for me. I just predicted it.
All right, well, like I said, let me get into this one anyway. So the third choice that I picked is Revenge the Fate. Now this is a band I've known for quite a while, and I really like them. I actually discovered this band listening to Bloodywood, ironically, and then the YouTube gods.
They're the Indian metal band, right?
Yeah, they're the Indian metal band, and the YouTube gods just put these guys on, and that's how I found them. So, nothing spectacular or anything like that, and I just really like them. Now, what I will say is, obviously, these speak in their native tongue. They also do their songs in their native tongue as well, and as somebody who doesn't speak the lingo, it is really hard for me sometimes to remember what songs are what and what titles called and stuff like that. But it's a band that's been, the reason why I picked these guys is because they're a band that's been around for a long ass time. And yet again, they're probably about 10 years or something like that, worth of backlog history. And I just don't know. I just really like them. Just from a pure metal point of view, just some of the riffs are just brutal, man. And yeah, I fucking love that shit. If I could inject it into my veins, then I would. Now, I picked this one fully knowing that this is probably going to be the least liked pick of them all. And what I have to say to the critics is,
have you never met
You're
Benedict?
gone.
I mean, this seems right down Benedict's alleyway for me. This is, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
You say it's, you seem, but have you seen him?
Well, let's find out.
I think he's got some
your
words to
opinion
say.
on it?
Okay. Let me get into it. You know, the first half of the song, I mean, the first 3 minutes, is like an intro, right?
Yes,
it's not
so
the real song.
the
assume.
song doesn't start until 40 minutes into the video. I did it and then I forgot to clarify that, and I did edit it. I don't know whether
because in those first 3 minutes, I was thinking like, okay, another 3 minutes more of this. Kind of
yeah. I kind of realized that the day I posted the day
kind
after.
of boring a bit.
Yeah,
but
the
then
day
the
after
real song
I went back and was like, just to let you know, I completely forgot to say, but the song doesn't actually start until 3 minutes in.
But when the real song started, I enjoyed it. I got into it. I wouldn't say this is some outstanding, super unique stuff as well, but like for what it is, it's pretty good, and I enjoyed it. So yeah,
Any
I'll take
particular
that as a
reasoning
win.
behind that, or anything about it in particular, or was it?
I mean, the usual suspects. It's heavy, it's brutal, it's fast-paced, energetic, that kind of stuff.
And some good
That's
growls
what
as
I mean.
well.
It doesn't have like any unique quality about it that I could say like, whoa, this is the part that I really enjoyed about it. But like overall, as a general metal song, I did really enjoy it, and I would listen to it again. Yeah.
I'm interested you worded it that way, because kind of like the core thing that I came back to in my notes, because as always, like, so obviously this is not really my style of things, not really sort of thing I would usually be into.
Who would have guessed that?
Exactly. But I tried to like look at it a review point of view, and I mean the thing that I can kind of get from it, and you kind of get this feeling by looking at the way that people are responding to it as well, is it I don't even look at it so much as being metal in the sense that I'm used to thinking of metal. And of course I know there's many different types of metal, so before the metalheads get at me, just the way that I'm used to thinking of metal. This to me more feels like.
Please explain which subgenre is it specifically?
It's the subgenre of go fuck yourself.
So I think that's correct.
Sounds brutal.
It's a very, very brutal, very brutal. But in the case of like this one, it was just like it felt like the vibe I got was a real strong EDM vibe, in that it was like there wasn't any particularly heavily layers of anything happening at any time. It's just hello kitty. It's just the throughout, all you had would be like one thing would repeat, and it would repeat in a sort of catchy and impactful way over a repeat catchy impactful beat, and then every few bars it would shift to something else and then shift to something else, but it was never anything like hugely layered, just like here's one cool thing to headbang to, and then we switch it to another thing a few bars there. So for me, it had a feeling of EDM, and the whole way they did that with breaks and then come back in, break, then come back in again, it was very reminiscent of EDM. And the guy at the front screaming, it felt more like he was a DJ shouting at like a club than a lead singer of a metal band.
Kind of, yes.
That's fine. That's the vibe I got from it.
It's funny. I never thought about it in that way, but that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
a lot of
brutal
similar
club night.
qualities in that way.
Well, I picked the live performance on purpose for that actual 2-minute kind of build up, because I didn't want it to be start on the exact note of like, because I thought that would be off-putting almost instantly to Howard. I wanted it to see a little bit more about the band, to see them egg up the crowd, to see the crowd interaction as well. Just kind of get the general vibe for it. 2 minutes kind of like leading into the song start. So that's why I picked the live performance as well. And I also enjoyed how they sound live as well, which is really good. You get some metal bands, I feel like, that sound really, really good on a record, but not so good on the live performance. And I thought these guys were actually pretty decent sounding. But
can't even imagine an album version of this. That didn't even occur to me. I'm like, how would an album version of this go? I can't imagine. Yeah, this felt like a DJ mix. Yeah, it felt like DJ mix Metal Man.
This song for me is like a little bit of a peek behind the YouTube curtain, so to speak. Like my first two picks are very. My first two picks. Can you fuck off?
As always, covered in pussy.
I know, right? The pussy meister. But
and back on subject. Oh my god.
She wants attention. She's like, pay me attention, daddy. I'm like, no, fuck off. Yeah, no, to you as well. Leave me alone. That wasn't an invitation. She's like, you haven't paid me attention today. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, she got you pairing up a storm. No, get off the PC. This is wrong.
Do you ever find furballs in your computer by any chance? Oh, we're gonna get so many messages in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, cancelled.
Yeah, don't worry, she's used to it. You should see my streams. Check her out.
That's just where Neon keeps all his box full of sharp electronic components. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a little bit more of a look between the YouTube curtain. I feel like my first two picks were me trying to promote what's a really, really good story, what I think people want to know is popular, what I know that has got a good reception. And this song is more of this is just me personal. Like I just love this type of shit. It doesn't matter if you're from Indonesia, freaking the South Pole, or from Greenland, for fuck's sake. I don't give a shit. If the music's good and the metal's loud, fast paced, and then I'm all fucking for it.
That was the most metal review I've ever heard. It's like, it's loud and it's fast and it's angry and I'm happy.
Man, I'm happy.
And it seems like certain things are popular in every country in the world.
Yeah, like music
ballads and metal.
Nationality.
Every country has ballads and metal.
Sometimes they combine the two
in the next videos.
Well, just before, because we're obviously only got a few minutes left on this episode, any like final thoughts on whether you feel different about the music of Indonesia now, or any songs that maybe you've taken away that you'd like to dive into more? Certainly that first band, now I've been reminded of their story and heard the song. The first song, like on its own, wasn't quite like enough for me to go, I really like this band, but it was enough to make me go, oh, they're interesting. And if they've like sort of grown from that standpoint, I'll definitely check out more.
Yeah, maybe that was just me overthinking it. I wanted to I wanted to show you like where they started, and hope that you two
I liked it enough to check out more.
Yeah. But that was the plan. I was hoping you'd go and check out more and learn to like them with the better songs, and obviously the older they get. I think
also, like, out of the three ones, it's the most unique one, I would say.
So if we were picking the one that we would each follow up on most, I would go for the first one. I get the feeling
me as
Benedict
well.
saying first
Definitely,
one as well. And Neon, which one do you think would be the one you'd be most likely to come back to?
Well, again, the third pick is my personal preference, so I'm always going to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's your taste, isn't it?
Yeah. But Voice of Baceprot and Putri, there's the reason why I picked them too.
Because... Yeah, it was a good selection. Yeah, really different songs.
Yeah, well, that's what I was kind of going for as well. I didn't want to do like the same kind of rock genre. I wanted a little bit rock, a little bit of something different, which was the Ariani pick, and also something that will, which is a little bit more kind of like opening the window to my soul, my little black dark heart, for all to see.
He's gonna like gel his hair down like in a diagonal line over his eyes.
What hair? Shave the hair.
What hair? Just
Don't
tattoo it
worry.
on your face.
So, you were talking about
No.
my beard. I can go braid my beard later.
Yeah, like emo beards. Why is that not a thing?
Well, I think the explanation was also the answer
Can
there.
you comb over a beard?
It's like your beard cut in like a slant with just like gels down to one side. And somehow you got to put a
Covering half your mouth.
in your...
I feel like we're talking about emo kids now. I feel like we've gone so far off the
Not sure how we got there.
Well, it's just your dark little heart. How does that? Yeah, it's just fun though. It's just fun. It was interesting. It was interesting to get a bit of a feel for that. So, as mentioned, everyone, we've got a couple more of these videos coming up. Of all people, Benedict was the one who decided to dive in on Korea. So, it's not going to be your average K-pop episode with Benedict. And I was I had a couple of places I wanted to do, but I ended up setting. Well, partly, we'll see.
Spoilers alert.
I decided to dive in on Thailand because I realized there's a couple of Thai bands who I'd been promising to talk about for a while and hadn't got around to. So I got that, but we've got plenty more of these ideas we want to get into. So yeah, get in the comments. Tell us what
actually
you think.
was thinking about, because when I heard your songs, that we could like switch around or like rotate the countries, so we will have like different kind of songs from each country. Just an idea.
This is something that I think the idea is we're going to respond to what people respond to. If people tell us they want more from one place, we will. Also, I know, like for example, there's a couple of other countries that I want to talk about as well, and we might take on each other's countries. So there could be all kinds of fresh madness.
When I was listening to your songs, Howard, I was thinking like I would have chosen completely different songs probably.
Oh, don't worry, I got that already worked out. Don't worry, we're going to have fun with each other's episodes, Benedict. And for anyone at home watching, those episodes are coming up. So me and Benedict are, by the sounds, we're going to murder each other over the course of the next 2 Wednesdays. We'll see you for a little bit of that murder action. And until we do, any last comments, anyone?
No, I'd be interested. As always, I'd like to see what people's comments are for the picks. It's kind of hard, kind of doing these videos a little bit because again, you want to do something that you personally like, but you also want to try and keep in mind what the audience might like, or again, what I like is the backstory to some artists. So I like to promote that. So it's hard. I feel like 3 songs isn't enough. There's 4 or 5, 6 different artists I was mulling over who to pick here. And to narrow it down to 3, I know on paper 3 sounds like a lot, but it wasn't enough, to be honest. But
it never's going to be, is it? We're just giving a taster.
Yeah,
they call it in restaurants. Is it an aperitif? Is that a taster? A mousse bouche.
What do you eat afterwards? No.
I know there's a name for the thing that you give, which is like a taste, a little taste.
Shows how often we
you want to eat more.
Eat nicely.
In Liverpool, we call it a 5-finger discount. Is that what you meant? Or
well, it depends on whether you're talking about what I think or whether you're talking about a hand job. So anyway, moving on.
No, I was talking about thieving, not what you want, you dirty bastard. That's why you picked Thailand for that, lady boy.
I just said the opposite.
Zoom,
oh my
cut
God.
the video already.
Jokes work when people explain them back to front. See you all in the next one.
Keep your ears to the east.
I was wrong.
What?
Why go?